Tarantulas and snakes are just two ways to start a great show. Our guest today has, right?
Yep,
Our guest
you
today
bet.
not only has over 30,000 snakes, but also has been featured on Discovery Channel's Venom Hunters.
Oh boy.
So welcome to Celebrate Michigan, a show on the campus of Madonna University. I'm Chris Benson.
And I'm Dennis Newbacher. Joining us is Brian Barczyk. You've been on the Discovery Channel, Venom Hunters, been all over the world.
Yep.
You're here to talk about what we're seeing in front of us,
Yep.
tarantulas, snakes. You have a tortoise with you.
Yep.
What a fascinating life you're living, Brian.
Yeah,
This is amazing.
It really is. I mean, I live a dream life. You know, I mean, I get to do all the crazy things that a lot of people wish they could. You know,
Yeah, but why? Why did you ever want to do this?
You know, I tell you, I've told this story before. Literally, my first memory as a child was 2 years old, my mom tells me, and it was of a ball python at the Belle Isle Zoo, believe it or not, the aquarium.
Okay.
And so I was obsessed with animals since day one. I mean, again, I've said it, I didn't remember my mom, I didn't remember my siblings, I remember the snake, you know?
Yeah.
And to this day, I'm 47, and I still remember that snake like it was
Very
yesterday.
cool.
So
Is that true that you've owned or you've been around at least 30,000 snakes?
100%, yeah, 100%. And I've been fortunate to play with the deadliest snakes on the planet, and all kinds of other creepies and crawlies and big animals.
Well, it's very easy. I mean, obviously, I'm looking at you going, I really admire you for this. But you have to be careful. This is not a game. I mean, this is fun to talk about this, but I don't really want to touch the tarantula, nor do I want to hold the snake. But that you can if it's done right, right?
100%. You know, and with any animal, it is really about understanding the animals, right? And I've just been really fortunate to really get to read animals very well. And of course, this is a Mexican red-knee tarantula.
Wow.
And listen, you know, I always preach not fearing animals and snakes in particular, because that's what I have kind of an affinity towards. And I used to be very, very fearful of these tarantulas. And so I actually bought this. Her name is Queen Elizabeth.
Oh boy.
And I got Queen Elizabeth because I wanted to get over that fear.
Yeah.
And here I am now. I can actually teach people that it's okay. You can be fearful of these animals, and we can get over it, because really the opposite of fear is knowledge.
But can they sense that about you, Brian? If you go into the
100%.
wild, can the spiders, the snakes, can they sense your presence and tell whether or not you're?
All right,
show
do
me.
me a favor.
I'm going to overcome my
And I'm
fear
gonna
now.
tell you,
I've never held a tarantula, so here we go.
all you have to
for
do
the
is
show.
just-
It's all for the show.
All you have to do is just hold your hands up.
Okay.
She's just going to crawl on you.
Okay.
It's going to feel really cool, actually.
Sure,
And you're doing
I
a
would
great
describe
job.
that as cool.
And I
Yeah.
do think
Wow.
that most animals can sense fear. And so if you're fearful right now, she's probably
Little
going to
bit.
attack you.
Oh
so,
my God.
No,
Why
no,
would you
she's
say
not
that?
going to. She's not going to attack you.
Could she attack Dennis?
She could
I
jump there
point her that way?
easily.
3
As a matter
feet,
of fact,
right?
she's looking at him right now. No, the truth is that, you know, it's neat, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's
I
pretty
mean,
cool.
there's always going to be that level of
Very
kind
cool.
of that, oh my gosh, it's a little freaky, but she's great. She really she has never tried to bite anybody, and that's why I have her. They're very slow-moving animals. As a tarantula, this is pretty awesome.
You said 8 years old. How long will a tarantula?
Well, you know,
live?
they'll go 25, 30 years.
My goodness.
And what's interesting is that, like, in the wild, males will live the first 7 years of their life underground. So they never come out. And then they come out and they breed and they die. So really, when you're talking about pet tarantulas like Queen Elizabeth, they're always going to be females.
And you said you purchased her.
Yeah, I did.
Just out of curiosity, what are we talking about when we're starting to talk about exotic insects? Or this is not an insect.
Well,
it's a
some can be
spider.
pretty pricey,
Well,
and
much.
I'm not really an insect expert, to be honest with you. But these guys used to be very common when I was a kid. And the reason why I got Queen Elizabeth is because this particular tarantula was ones that I'd see in pet shops when I was a kid. Now they're actually endangered in Mexico. And so this one cost me, I think I paid $150 for it, which to me was worth it to try to get over a lifetime of fear.
They ship it to you in a live crate, things like that.
Exactly.
That's how it comes.
Yeah. So we could put Queen Elizabeth back
I had
here.
her on like a little treadmill there. Did you see that?
Yeah,
She
and
was
that's
kind of
exactly,
cool.
you did so well.
Hey, there you go. Isn't that
You know,
exciting?
it is unbelievable
Well, that
how
was
well.
really cool.
Yeah, and so now, you know, I can, you know, brag about that I was your first
Now,
tarantula.
do you work with, it's true. I'm like, I have to say, and I did ask before, and I was like, is there any jumping involved? Brian was like, no, not really, just about 3 feet. And I'm like, well, that's Dennis. I'll frame it that way. So you do probably have kids that jump in, and I bet they're a lot of fun when it comes to working with the animals.
I love teaching kids in particular, and that's one of the things I'll do. And speaking, this is a slow-moving animal. Speaking of another slow-moving animal, you want to bring over the tortoise?
Oh, my goodness.
I've got a whole bunch of animals to show you.
Getting the table ready here.
But I tell you what, I love, in particular, when kids are into wildlife. That's kind of the thing that I love more than anything. You can take that.
It's more my style here.
Yeah, right. And this guy is, of course, this is what they would call an African spur-thighed tortoise, and of course, the spurs, you can see the little spurs right here on their thighs, and that's why they call them African spur-thighs. And this is actually the third largest species of tortoise in the world.
Oh, wow.
Get bigger than this, Brian?
Yeah, they'll get about 250 pounds.
Whoa.
How much does this one weigh?
This one weighs maybe 12 pounds.
And how big around then?
We're talking the size of this table.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Size of this table, and
they live a long time too, don't they?
150 plus years.
That's amazing.
So Speedy here is one day going to go hopefully to Speedy, because he's so fast, you can see.
I can see.
But ironically enough, he is kind of fast for a tortoise in the sense that once he gets comfortable, he cruises around pretty well. And I actually had a GoPro attached to him a couple days ago, just taped on,
Yeah,
Oh my
gosh. I was going to say, do they sell a tortoise attachment for the GoPro? I'm not aware of.
Yeah, we're working on the prototype.
Well, we're looking at the difference. I mean, this is this furry spider. So all the animals in our world they all look different, act different. This functions differently than the spider does. What's the shell for? What are we talking about here?
Well, it's really great. The truth is, with almost all animals, it's about defense, right?
Okay,
and a tarantula, that particular tarantula actually kicks hairs off of her. And you asked about
like a
Way to tell me that before I held it, Brian.
insect porcupine.
Exactly right. And what will happen is their predators' eyes will get in there and they'll scratch and they'll go away. Of course, Speedy has this shell here, which is of course keratin, which is the same as our fingernails.
And she'll go inside of that.
And if Speedy goes like this, there's no way that anything's going to get to it. Those spurry thighs right here, this really hard shell.
But she could be in danger if she's flipped over, though, right? Because she's getting back on her feet is going to be very difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's very difficult for them, and they are known to sometimes perish by doing that. And she lives in my backyard during the summer months here in Michigan, and probably once a week or so I find her upside down because she tries to climb the fence, and she falls backwards.
Oh my gosh.
Sure she does,
so I need a little turtle cam to keep on her, and like a baby monitor.
Keep the GoPro on.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we'll let her stay with us for just right now. We're going to learn more about what you brought with you, reptiles, spiders, things like that.
There's more, Dennis.
There's more. Looking forward to it. Brian Barczyk, please come right back. We're going to have a lot more fun. You see.
Nice. No. Oops. Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy.
Works every time.
Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
Ready?
Oh, come on, Randy. Animal shelter, here I come. And no, I'm not crazy or emotionally damaged. That's a stereotype. I just belong to a total loser. I'm a good dog. So if you want a pet, adopt. And if you see Randy, tell him he dropped his wallet.
You realize that 49 million Americans struggle with hunger? That's 1 out of every 6 Americans.
These people are around us every day. They're our friends, they're our coworkers, their kids go to school with our kids.
Sometimes we're not even aware that they're struggling. This problem is closer than you think, but so is the solution.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
Sounds like you could use some Van Gogurt. It's fortified with arts-rich nutrients to improve your math and reading skills. Catch!
Van Gogurt, thanks. So what's the deal with your ear?
Always with the ear, huh?
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit AmericansForTheArts.org.
Welcome back to Celebrate Michigan. I'm Chris Benson.
And I'm Dennis Newbacher. Today we're here with Brian Barczyk of BHB Reptiles. He's been all over the world, all over the country. He's done this ever since he's been a kid. Lots of great interest. And you were talking about the tarantula before. We had the tortoise. Now we have, what is this?
This is actually a bearded dragon. And of course, his name is Spike. As you can see, he's very spiky. He is a boy. And the reason they call him bearded dragons is actually right under here, one of his display mechanisms. And what's interesting about these guys is that they live in a hierarchy. So one of the display mechanisms is the dominant male will actually bob his head and that beard will turn black.
Oh, wow.
Right? And so they call him bearded dragon. Yeah, and that's what. So you can have multiple males in the colony, but one's going to be sub-male, and then he's going to be the hierarchy. Now
where's he from?
These are Australian.
Oh, they are.
Okay.
He's giving you the eye, Dennis.
Yeah, I know.
You see, he just gave you like the one eye. Like,
hi, handsome. How are you?
And ironically enough, in Australia, I've been there many times. You'll find these guys oftentimes sunning on top of fence posts.
Oh,
so as you're driving down the road, you go, oh, bearded dragon, bearded dragon, bearded dragon. But they are really fast in the wild and almost impossible to catch. I've never actually caught one. I've ran after them, but I've never caught one in the wild.
You said they're an omnivore too, so they'll eat both vegetables or greens and meat,
bugs.
Right?
Exactly.
Bugs.
I mean, mainly bugs. We'll do, super worms. They don't eat meat, so there's mealworms, which are little grubby type things, and then there's superworms. They actually can't digest the keratin from the mealworms. So they can eat superworms, but not mealworms. Crickets, roaches, but then they'll eat lots of veggies, so you give a nice varied diet. These guys will live, 8 to 10 years typically, so a little shorter lived than the other things, but really great pests. As you can see, they kind of, literally, a lot of times, with Spike here, I'll be working and I just kind of throw him on my shoulder or throw him on my head, and he hangs out.
He's kind of like really laid back. I mean, we're around
he's really interested in you too. Like he really likes what you're saying. He's kind of turning his head. And
this is one of the most amazing things about bearded dragons. They just did a survey on these, and these guys go into REM sleep, which is almost unheard of in all animals.
Really?
Like very few animals actually have REM sleep, and bearded dragons. So we were talking earlier about intelligence with reptiles. That proves that this particular type of animals is very much more highly intelligent than a lot of other reptiles because they can actually get into a dream state.
Well, Australia's got the reputation as because it's an island, so it's a continent, obviously, but it's an island. Apparently, they have some of the most unique reptiles in the world.
Oh, wow.
It's like the Mecca for a reptile lover, and I've spent I spent over a month last year, filming for Discovery Channel in Australia, and just every day waking up and looking for cool and mostly deadly animals, of course.
Sure.
And
they have some of the most deadly animals in
everything
Australia.
Kills you there. Everything. I mean, they've got.
Let me just tell you.
They've got birds that will kill you. They've got platypus that'll kill you. They've got irukandji, which are little jellyfish. They've got, of course, the most deadly snakes on the planet. They even have trees that will give you poison.
Really?
So it's a great place to be, and I love it to death. It's my favorite place on the planet.
I'm saying this, I'm going to date myself, but you're just a walking encyclopedia, like you're a walking Wikipedia. But I mean, you're just rambling off all these statistics and information.
Right.
How did you get to this point? Like, have you just read everything that you can possibly read? I mean, I'm sure there's kids that are watching this show that are like, I want to be Brian.
Well, I tell you, I think when you're really passionate about something, it's never learning, right? You know what I mean? You want to know because you just are, it's so amazing, you know? And I always say that, one of the things that I want to try to do now in my adult life is create curiosity about things that I'm really passionate about. And to me, I'm really passionate about, all wildlife, reptiles in particular, but all wildlife, and I want to create that curiosity in others so that they can say, wow, I want to learn what that guy learned. So I don't really look at myself as an expert. I don't look at myself as someone that really knows a ton. I guess it's just my life, you know, and so, but anyway, Spike is awesome. I'm going to show you another lizard.
No, I want to stay with Dennis.
Bye, Spike.
Bye. See, he'll wave at you. See, he's waving right now.
Oh,
Now, actually,
cool.
ironically enough, these guys will wave by each other. Not like goodbye, but it's one of the other little things in their hierarchy. They'll actually do one of these numbers. It's really neat to see. So now this is actually another Australian lizard, but these guys, see that tongue right there?
Yes, I see that tongue right there.
It's blue, and this is called a blue tongue skink. Or in Australia, they call it a blue tongue lizard, but we call them skinks here. And these are obviously, you can tell, very short legs, very much to the ground. These guys are going to stay on the ground.
Almost looks like it evolved from crocodile or alligator.
You know, you can definitely see that evolutionary thing from snakes to kind of the lizard type of thing. And again, these guys are going to stay on the ground. They have these little holes, are actually ears.
Is that what I saw on Spike too?
Exactly. Yep. They're little ears, and snakes, of course, have inner ears, but there's no holes.
Very sensitive. Can they hear long distances away or not?
They'll feel vibration.
What is their like animals like reptiles like this? What is their sense that's the strongest?
Definitely smell.
Smell.
Okay. Yeah, 100%.
So they can eat. Right?
Yeah, right now it's tasting and smelling at the same time. Most reptiles have what they call a Jacobson organ, so their tongue will come out and taste the air, go back into the Jacobson organ, and they're actually smelling.
That was my question. What's up with that tongue action there?
You can see. I mean, if you put your thing out, it'll actually lick you if you want. It will not hurt you. Trust me.
But it's like, okay, I can do that.
All right. Okay.
Is that weird? Right? And these guys, believe it or not, the thing that's really neat about this particular animal here, number one, they're live bearers. So something like this would have anywhere from 8 to 12 live babies once a year.
Wow. Okay.
Little replicas of itself.
Gosh, adorable. I'm sure.
Just 100.
Whereas the snakes, they lay eggs, right?
Some are egg layers and some are live bearers. It just depends. But
and tortoises, eggs.
Eggs, correct. Yeah, no live bearing turtles or tortoises whatsoever. And but what's neat about these guys is that, believe it or not, we just feed them dog food. That's it. Now they are omnivores as well, and you can give them some veggies, but they don't necessarily need it. So I literally just give them dry dog food, and that's it. So
good pets.
These guys, I tell you what, in Australia in particular, if a kid walks into a pet shop and says, "I want to have," attack, Fido, attack.
Hi there.
It's the leopard print there.
I know.
I told you the one thing you don't want to wear is leopard print.
I didn't know. I thought it would work with the show theme.
But when a kid goes into a pet shop in Australia and says, "I want a pet lizard," this is typically what they'll say to get, because they're very hardy, they're very easy to take care of, super docile, as you can see, and very easy to just feed it.
We used to go to the Shrine Circus years ago. I remember when I was a kid, they had chameleons all the time. And I tried to do that, and they always died. I mean, I felt terrible about that. You had to make sure you had the mealworms. You had to order the mealworms. They'd come dead in the mail. I thought, this is not right.
Chameleons are a very delicate animal.
Oh my gosh. Well, on that note, we're going to take a short break.
Sorry about that.
But come back. We've got even more great animals with Brian Barczyk. Stay tuned.
You bet.
Welcome home, man.
Kickflip 6 stairs takes determination. So will getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you. So, are you going out tonight?
I can't. My parents say I have to be home right after work.
That's so gay.
Totally gay.
Ugh, that is so Emma and Julia.
Why are you saying that's so Emma and Julia?
Well, you know, when something is dumb or stupid, you say that's so Emma and Julia.
Who says that?
Everyone.
Imagine if who you are were used as an insult. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
Welcome
How
back
do you
to
like
Celebrate
my little
Michigan.
friend?
I know. Say hello to my little friend. Welcome back to Celebrate Michigan. I'm Chris Benson.
And I'm Dennis Newbacher. We're joined by BHB Reptile business owner Brian Barczyk, who's been all over the world, been on the Discovery Channel, and he's joining us today, which is great to have you on Celebrate Michigan. What do you have with you now?
Someone who wants my water.
Yeah, right. Well, okay, fine. Here you go.
These guys are really curious. They just want to see what's going on. He's tasting the air. This is a boa constrictor, and this is actually a paint job or a color mutation of a boa constrictor called a sun glow arabesque, which means there's actually 3 different color mutations involved here. There's arabesque, there's hypo, and then there's albino. Of course, he's albino. You can see the red eyes. And these are, you know, again, we call them paint jobs, and we're kind of designer morphing these things to look really cool. And again, this is the boa constrictor.
So are there more colors in their skin that will come out at different times, or because some reptiles do that, don't they?
You'll see a little bit of that with reptiles. In particular, chameleons, of course, will do that, and they don't change color. They have something that's called chromatophores that lighten and darken. Right.
So the snake will not do that, though. This is the snake.
Some will, a little bit.
Why would this color? I mean, in the wild, I mean, this will either blend in or stand out like a sore thumb.
Exactly.
Is that what the whole idea of a reptile's color is? To blend into where they are?
Well, it's one or the other. It's either to blend in or to stick out so much that not people, but the predators think that they're poisonous or venomous or whatever the case may be.
Stay away.
So, like, there's mimicry, right? So, like, a milk snake, for instance, is red, black, and yellow, much like a coral snake. A milk snake is harmless, and a coral snake is deadly. And, of course, the saying is red next to black is a friend of Jack, red next to yellow is a deadly fellow. So there's a different color combination, but it's mimicry.
So the snake you would characterize as...
And by the way, you can hold this snake.
Yeah,
I think you'd be perfect for this.
Brave lady.
This has not bitten anyone this week.
Okay.
It looks like it wants to.
So it's overdue, probably, is what I'm trying to say.
I can't see exactly where it's going.
A constrictor won't bite.
They will bite, and they do have about 200 little teeth in there. And but they don't. This is not a biter. I don't.
Not today.
Yeah, not today. At least. Let's hope so. Now, I will say, I with full disclosure, I did have someone at my shop a couple days ago. I think it was yesterday actually, and I handed them a snake and said, "This will never bite you," and it bit her.
Your shop, by the way, is in Utica, Michigan, right?
It is, but I'm not open to the public.
You're not open. I'm just people have to get a hold of you on BHB Reptiles. Right? That's good.
If you win the lottery, if you get a hold of me.
But you're getting calls from schools, I'm thinking, all the time, right?
Yeah, we love doing educational shows. I mean, I love it.
But you're traveling a lot more than you're doing anything else.
Yeah, I wish I did more educational shows because I really love doing them. But I'm so busy all the time that it's difficult for me to find the time to do it. But I love them.
Where would you want to go that you've not been? Or would you like to return? What's been the most fascinating?
I tell you, there's.
Oh my goodness!
I think every adventure has got its own. It's just amazing experiences. In particular, as far as going back, there's a place in Darwin, Australia called Fog Dam. It's way up in the NT of Australia, and that's a place that I've always said that I just love. And I feel like I'm at home. Again, earlier today I was talking to one of the students, and we were talking about Africa as well. The continent of Africa is amazing. But there's so many places. I've been fortunate to travel the world many times, but there's still so many places I haven't been.
And from a serious side, have you been bitten? Have you had to experience having? I mean, experiencing these animals helps other people, the venom, right? The antivenom, things like that.
Yeah, and that was what the Discovery
Show.
Show
deal with these.
Well, that was
Venom
what
Hunters.
Venom Hunters, the Discovery Show, was about collecting venom for antivenin that helped, and medical research as well. I have not, thankfully, ever been bitten by a venomous snake at all. I've been bitten about 100,000 times by non-venomous snakes.
Oh wow!
So,
just about 100,000.
Just from handling,
give or take.
Just from handling.
Well, the thing is that when I handle a snake, I'm never concerned. Okay, we got another one coming coming
you
in.
bet.
This is a little bit different snake, and it's from a different continent. This is going back to Australia. This is a snake.
It's like a large garter snake.
Her name is Jewel, and this is a Woma python, which is W-O-M-A. And this is a python from Australia.
And a python is a little different, more of aggressive, not aggressive
Not
snake, but a
necessarily.
different way of going
it's
after
just
its prey.
yeah.
It's okay.
You can see,
it's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
He's like, it's aggressive. Snake. I'm like,
Yes.
I'll see you.
Yes,
you're doing a great job.
they are mainly killers.
Okay.
No, really, to be honest with you, it's just a different family, a different genus.
Actually, I'm fascinated by this. I'm having fun with this. You're having fun with it.
Yeah, of course.
If you took this too seriously, you wouldn't want to even do
yeah,
this,
I wouldn't.
right?
Yeah, listen, I never take myself serious. I can't.
Yeah.
If anyone that watches my videos,
But you're
knows
respectful of what you're dealing with.
100%.
But because there are people who buy leopards and this and that, and they have them in their yards. I'm thinking, well, this doesn't. Why would you do that? I mean, you got to really think about what you're doing with stuff like this, right, Brian?
Well, yeah, exotic animals are one of those things where I think you have to be extremely respectful as well as knowledgeable and have the right facilities to take care of these types of things. You know, a leopard isn't a pet. You know, a lion isn't a pet. You know, a crocodile's not a pet.
Yeah.
You know?
Our next animal that's coming out, I bet, is not a pet.
Oh yeah,
either.
we got a big one coming.
So-
All right, come on over. All right.
It's okay, Dennis.
All right,
this is my old friend, Sunshine. Sunshine and I go way
Say
back
hello to my
to
big
last
friend.
season. Do I need to stand?
Nope, you can sit down. You can sit down. I'm coming to you.
Okay.
Look at us.
Sunshine came and visited with me last
Can I touch the
season.
skin real quick?
Yes,
Oh,
yeah,
my
of course
gosh.
you can.
Oh, wow.
Sunshine weighs a lot, which is why we have multiple people coming here.
Okay, are you protecting her? That's okay.
Yes,
All
yes.
right, don't look at me that.
How
Don't
much
look at
does
me with that tone of voice.
Sunshine's
move
about
this out of the
90
way
pounds,
here.
just shy of, and you can just kind of let her go
Let her
for
go
a
on?
second,
Okay.
Here.
and she'll probably
Bring
come
this
around
right
a little
down.
bit
She's
here.
never strangled any hosts on the show.
Not on this show. Not on this show. There was that one time in Vegas, but
she's full of muscle right down, right? This is all muscle right here.
Snakes are muscle and bones.
Right, because she crushes.
She's a constrictor.
Yeah.
Focusing
on
the constricting.
The thing.
Let me help you. She
The
crushes people.
The crushing of the.
Do they adapt well
people?
to the environment, Brian? I mean, they adapt. A lot of these animals now, people are releasing them like in the Everglades. Now we've got anacondas everywhere in the Everglades, destroying the ecostructure of a situation.
Yeah, it depends. You know, they're obviously extremely. They will adapt to areas that are similar to where they're from. When these are Southeast Asia animals, South Florida is much like Southeast Asia. This animal would never live in Ohio or Georgia or anything else.
We are just glad that Sunshine is here visiting us at Celebrate Michigan. So if people want to find you, it's www.bhbreptiles.com.
Yep, or you can find me on any social media at Snakebytes TV, which is BYTES.
Okay.
And you will find me everywhere.
Thanks,
Brian, this has been a joy. Thank you. I know
really
it's been
has.
a joy for Dennis.
It really has.
You've done amazing.
Thank you.
You
Thank
both
you.
are incredible.
Very nice.
Bravo.
Stay safe. Have a lot of fun. Thanks for bringing this to
Absolutely.
our attention and letting people be around. It helps us all be educated.
My
We'll see you
pleasure.
next time on Celebrate Michigan. Thanks.
Hey,
Bye-bye.
Sunshine.